Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Micaela, and if you can't tell, I'm in a brand new place because I moved! Yay! 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 Where's the cat? Go get the cat. Where's the cat? That's not a cat. So, yes, it's so much nicer here. It's so spacious. Like, look at this. These are my arms. I can do this and like not hit anything. It's so nice. This kitchen, like, okay, I don't know if you can tell. That's the kitchen, and then there's the living room, and then this area here, and then there's a room over there. But like, the kitchen itself is like twice the size of my old apartment, so it's really nice. And look who's here! Anyway, it's super nice out here, and I'm glad that we made the move because the pets are happier and I'm generally a lot happier. And so today's video I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about moving in Japan, because moving in Japan it's tough. It's like one of the biggest hurdles that you have as a foreigner in Japan, or at least it used to be. I remember the first apartment that I got on my own in Fukuoka. I had to have my guarantor, which was like, my guarantor was my friend's family, and they had to drive all the way up to sign papers for me because I couldn't sign them for myself. And when I think about like the process then, which was 7 years ago, by the way, 7 years ago that I moved to Fukuoka, when I think about the process then compared to the process now, it's so much easier to get an apartment these days. And maybe it's partially because I can speak Japanese better now, and maybe it's partially because, you know, there are more foreigners in even in places like Kyushu now that some places are just better with dealing with them, that it's just been a lot smoother this time. So I wanted to talk about, you know, moving in Japan and kind of like give you an updated list of the things you need and the things you should and shouldn't do and how to make it go a lot smoother. One, you're going to need your Zairyu card, which is a card that all foreigners get when they are working with proper visas and they're long-term residents of Japan. Without this, you will not get very far because a lot of rental properties in Japan require you to make a 1 or 2 year contract. It's essentially your ID, and it has all the information like how long you're staying here and how long you're allowed to stay here and what the status of your residence is, so it's important that you have that when you are looking for an apartment. 2, you're going to need an inkan or a stamp. It acts as a signature for your name, and apparently they're very, very hard to replicate, so your stamp is like your own original mark, and even if someone tried to make the same stamp, like, it would be different and they could tell if it's fake. So just to show you, this is mine. They take about 5 to 10 minutes to make, and even if you're a foreigner, you can use a foreign name. Mine is just the 4 katakana characters Micaela, which is my first name in Japanese. So basically, if you're going to be making an apartment contract, you're going to need one of these. The third thing that you need when you're renting an apartment in Japan, and this is kind of like the big one, is that you're going to need a lot of money. Sometimes you will have to pay a reikin, which is key money, or a gift to the landlord, and this is usually 1 month's rent, and you will not get this back. There's also shikikin, which is a deposit, which is usually also 1 to 2 months rent, and most of the time you don't get this back either. 3, depending on who is helping you rent the property, you might be required to pay a shokaite studio, which is like a introduction fee, which is usually another 1 month's rent to the realtors for introducing you to the place. Even like the cheapest apartment costs about $1,000 up front to move into, and the more specific your needs are, the more you can expect to pay, because you're gonna have less leeway in choosing like the cheaper options. For me, for example, I have pets, and because I have pets, there are a lot of places that just will not rent to me, and the places that do rent to me tend to charge a little bit more for the same space than they would for someone who doesn't have a pet. And whatever. Having a pet's my responsibility, so there's nothing I can do about that, but when I had to move out of my previous apartment, I also had to pay them a $300 cleaning fee. They said because I have a pet that they have to sanitize it and do all that stuff. So I mean, it's part of the responsibility of owning a pet in Japan. It costs a lot of money. Some places will require you to have a guarantor, hoshounin, which means someone to sign for you someone with more money, someone in a higher position, someone Japanese, to sign for you in case you do something terrible and someone else has to take responsibility. And this isn't just something that's restricted to foreigners. Japanese people need one too. But foreigners have always had sort of a hurdle here because sometimes we just don't know someone who can take that position and sign for us. Especially if you've just come to Japan and you don't have a lot of relationships, it can be really hard to get that sorted. But luckily these days you can pay a company to become your guarantor, your hoshonin, and sign for you, so that is solved. The only problem is that it does cost more money, so like I said, the more money you have to work with when renting an apartment, the better. When you are looking for a place to rent in Japan, even if it's your first time, don't be afraid to stop working with a certain company if you feel like they aren't really being honest or if they aren't addressing your needs perfectly. Also, finally, it's good to know that a lot of rental properties that you can find online on Suumo or Housemate, I'll put a bunch of links down below. It helps if you can read Japanese though. A lot of the real estate companies share that information, so just because a certain place has that information up doesn't mean you have to go through that company to rent that place. You can take that listing to whichever real estate office you want, show it to them, and say, I'm interested in this place, can you check it out? And they should be able to do that. So another really important tip is to make sure that you absolutely check out the places before deciding to rent them. Just because something looks really good on paper doesn't mean it's gonna look good in real life. But hopefully that's kind of like useful information for you. I don't know where my animals went, so I'm gonna try and find them now. It's too quiet in here. But yeah, thanks for listening, and I will make another video again eventually soon. Talk to you later. Bye.